You going to, you be there. If I die for you, if I go for you, I'm gonna be there. Open the doors. Come on in, motherfucker.
Oh, what is on the agenda tonight? It's a good question. And probably something I'm just gonna make up as I go. Because it's been one of those days. Not a bad day. I was drawing all day at work. And didn't have anything specific to work on. But yeah, I think you probably hit all three categories that I'll probably end up hitting in this one drawing. Maybe. We'll see. Elves are kind of fairies, right? A little bit. Fairy-esque. Depending on which folklore you subscribe to. Hello, Ricky. Thanks for joining the stream. And you too, Mario. Sorry, I'll look up every now and then. You guys can totally ask questions in the chat, and I'll answer them when I can. No, that character is going to be ongoing, I think, for a while. Because it's actually a character in a story that I'm developing, so there are a few big questions I have about that character that I kind of have to answer for myself before I can actually figure him out. Namely, his age. I don't know if I want him to be older or younger because it changes the dynamic of the story a lot. And I'm not sure. For now, I'm just gonna make up something else. And we'll see where it takes us. And I had thought about drawing like one of my wicked little witches on Twitch, but I have no idea where they stand as far as censoring nudity in sketches, and I probably should have thought about that before I did that one over the weekend, but that naked elf girl with the swords. But oh well. No one said anything yet, but I don't really want to push it. I live in the Los Angeles area, so it is currently 10 to 9 p.m. Some people think I'm crazy for wanting to come home and draw after drawing for 10 hours at work, but I don't know. I find it kind of a nice way to unwind. Or I get to draw my own shit, and it doesn't really matter what it is. So there's kind of no right or wrong. Well, unless I totally fuck up the proportions, but, you know. And that's possible. And of course, I made it harder on myself choosing to draw a head-on view. Because then if I mess something up, it's like, it's really obvious I can't fake my way out of that one. Yeah, there was one, it was Witching Hour. That's what we're going to be drawing. Sort of. Maybe. I did see one artist, or my buddy Autumn was telling me about an artist who she would render, because she'll render nudes and stuff, kind of erotica, but then when she's done with like a naughty bit, she'll just put tape over it for the stream and then keep drawing. I thought that was kind of funny. And not a bad idea. funny how we artists will just keep going and going. And we'll get tired, take a little bit of a break, and then we'll just keep going. Hey Crate, welcome back again, and thanks for joining again. I'm really just making this thing up as I go. Not quite sure where it's going to take me, but I think when I do something like this, I kind of just let the marks dictate a little bit, like just what kind of marks I feel like making. And of course the risk is when I don't have a clear idea, it's easier to fuck it up. Yeah, I've learned to be, although honestly I've always been a bit of a patient person, so it's not like I've had to learn anything crazy. But Hollywood traffic does make me a little crazy, and I find I am less patient with that than anything else. Everything else, not much of a problem. But Hollywood traffic drives me a little insane. Yes. Oh man, yeah, 405. Fuck the 405. I never have to go out that way, thankfully, because I live on the east side and I work in Hollywood, so I never have to deal with that. But if I do, sometimes it's enough to deter me. Like, someone's like, "Oh hey, we're gonna have this party and it's gonna be out wherever," and I'm like, no, never mind, not interested. I just don't want to deal with it. It's sad, but what are you gonna do? Told you we'd smudge ink, cause I like doing that shit. Oh shit, got the elf ears going. Yeah, I like the... I don't know. I like the look of the smudging. Sometimes it's interesting how much it will add to something. Like, I'll feel like it doesn't feel done, or it's missing something, and I'll just sometimes smudge just a couple of spots, and then it just adds whatever depth I felt it was lacking before. Just smudge, and problem solved. Gotta throw in the elf ears. No, it's not that kind of drawing, Mario. Sorry. No chickens. Be serious here, man. Come on. Good luck, Larry. I hope it goes well.
What's wrong with you, girl?
This guy that we're listening to, Junior Kimbrough, if you don't know him, you should. He's a bit of a blues legend, Mississippi Hill Country Blues. And the story goes that if you wanted to go see him live at his juke joint down in Holly Springs, you went there and you left your woman at home, because if she heard him groove, she was gonna sleep with him, and that was it. And you have to kind of believe the story, because the guy had 28 illegitimate children, so there's got to be some truth to that. And not many people groove the way that Junior Kimbrough grooved. Wife never left him though. She was cool with it. She said she always knew that he'd come back to her, so, you know, no big thing. You know, I've used this brush pen on more textured paper, and it works well. You just have to keep it a little more wet if you're gonna use it on rougher paper. It doesn't work so great if you do something as rough as, say, a cold press watercolor paper. I've used it in like the Strathmore mixed media sketchbooks and gotten really nice results with it. So you can definitely use it on textured paper. But I think cold press or a rough press watercolor paper would be too rough. I think you need a little bigger brush or an actual brush where you can really control where you can control the amount of moisture that's in the brush. Then you know you can get away with something like that. You can kind of control it here. Like these days I'll actually keep I just have this little jar of water that every now and then I'll just dip the pen in there a little bit, dab it off on a paper towel, and then keep going. Unless I want a dry brush look at the time, then that's fine. But trying to decide what I want to. The other problem with making this stuff up as you go is like you don't want to go too far and then end up drawing into a space that you might want to use for something. So that can get a little tricky. So we will just get a little sidetracked with her hair. How about that? I like doing big messy hair. It's just fun. It's also a nice chance to kind of mess around with some different kinds of marks because you can discover some good things that way. Yeah, the Kaimei does run a little dry. I think their standard ink, which I love, is a little thicker, right? If I put like calligraphy ink in here or fountain pen ink, it definitely runs a lot wetter. I like that platinum ink, the platinum carbon ink. My only issue is that it dries faster. So it's a little harder to get the kind of smudges that I like. But I still do enjoy using that. I want her to be holding something. Not a chicken, but something else. Looking at you, Mario. Maybe just like a little idol. Yeah, let's do that. She's like, it's kind of like elf, witch, girl. She's got that going on. So we can do some kind of gnarly idol maybe. I'm okay with that.
myself. All I want you to do, baby, is put your arms around me, hold me, and make me feel good. That's alright. Someday, baby, someday you'll find this day. You know I love you. I just can't help myself. All I want you to do, baby, put your arm around me, hold me.
It's the only thing with having that Minions text alert is that if I'm not ready for it, that shit startles me every damn time. I don't know why I don't change it, but it also cracks me up, so I keep it. Because, you know, Minions.
Yeah, Junior, I love you too, baby. She said, Junior, take your time, baby. I'll be here with you, boy. As long as you want me.
Yeah, I don't know why, like, that text tone just, it makes me laugh, but then,
Your arms around me, girl.
yeah, half the time, it just, like, comes out of nowhere.
I want you to hold me, baby.
There we go again. But I was ready. Ah.
I want you to make me feel good. I said, baby, you look good to me.
I don't really know what this is. He's like some little angry, I don't know, some kind of little angry guy.
Oh, baby.
Why is he angry? I don't know. Let's get our hands in there though.
Oh, baby. Take your time, Junior. I'll be here with you, baby. baby. I want you to make your love good to me. I want you to
And this is where I'll always have to also kind of decide how, because I don't like it when everything is like super spelled out in a drawing. It's probably the sketch artist in me that's like, yeah, indicate some of that shit. And it's not just me. Joseph Spuckfitch says it too. He says, don't state, indicate. And when we talk about an artist as badass as he is, we listen. But also, like, sometimes just spelling the hell out of something, it doesn't bias anything, right? Like, it doesn't make it any better if you can get the idea with less information. I feel like sometimes that's a good thing. Leaves a little more to the imagination of the viewer, which I think most viewers appreciate. Alright, let's see. Let's get a little more going on here. Cat's running around like a little crazy person. Which she will do from time to time. See, there I fucked up the hands. We'll hide those though. Easy enough. So I wanted to get. So that's the other thing. When drawing straight in ink, sometimes, yeah, you might screw something up. So you just have to figure out, like, okay, well, is there a way that I can change this where I can make that work or cover it up in an interesting way without making it worse, right? Much more challenging in ink, obviously, because you can't take that shit back. But it's a fun challenge, and I think it's a really good design challenge, too. Kind of work on the fly a little bit and just kind of take things as they come. It can be a little stressful depending on how serious you are about it. If like your goal is to really just do the awesomest drawing straight in ink ever, then it would probably be a little more stressful. For me, my whole goal was to unwind. So I'm not going to worry about it, and I will find a way to cover it and still make it interesting. I know what I want to do. I'm just trying to decide how much needs to be visible to show it.
I'm in love. Been in love for a long time. With you, baby. Give me your hand, girl. Let me make you love me, baby.
There is always the chicken. One of the other things I love to take advantage of also is, as you know, occasionally if the pen does get a little dry, I like to use that dry brush. But it also doesn't need to be dry. You can just do a quicker mark and get a nice technique there. I'm a fan of dry brushing and smudging. A little bit of overlap. I'm going to grab another pen. Just grabbing a gel pen. Throw some little accents on here.
I'm in love with you, baby.
It's the other thing, I'm a fan of mixing pens. Which reminds me, first, nah, we don't need the.
I'm in love with you. I'm in love with you.
So this is just a high-tech C mica. I think it's just like a red. But I often like using the two of, like the brush pen and these together. It's fun. Sometimes I'll use like a colored brush pen, but a lot of times that gets a little too watery, so it'll make the ink bleed a little bit too much. So that's where I like to use these guys. I feel like anything you can do to add like one more layer of interest to something goes a long way. I think that's one of the reasons I like to use multiple pens. Even if they're both black pens, sometimes I'll just use a black High-Tech C. Though oftentimes I'll switch over to like a fountain pen along with the brush pen, just because two different pens get two different marks, and it just adds another layer to the piece. I always feel like if you can move it away from the just like one look and what you see is what you get, then you're on the right track. I had a teacher that would always say, to vary your marks and vary your brushes. He's a painting teacher. Because if you use the same brush and you use it the same way throughout the whole painting, then they just need to look in one area and then they've seen your entire painting. Like, why should they look at the entire thing? Moreover, why should they look at any of your other paintings if you're just going to use everything the same way? So that always really stuck with me in terms of just trying to vary my stuff as much as I can in terms of the mark making. Subject matter, whatever. I'll draw half-naked elves all day. No, that's only because I don't usually have time to design really cool clothes, which I do enjoy doing. I do love me some good fashion design. Alright. Despite fucking up on the hands, I'm not hating it. Pen. Dude, let's do that. Thank you, Jay.
Y'all stay with me till I come down, you know.
Yeah, I don't know, I'd considered a couple ways into that, but at the same time, I was kind of like, well, because I didn't actually know where I was going to put the arms at the time, so redrawing the hands, I don't think it would have helped. But it's cool. It doesn't look terrible. I can live with it. I better be able to. I'm doing this shit live, right? I say clean up as I'm smudging more and more, but that's what I meant by clean up. Cleaning up the read of the image. Not trying to make the image cleaner. Just wanting to simplify the values a little bit. Alright. Okay with that. Now let's see if I can give you a little zoom in on that this time without fucking it up. That's the good stuff right there. Nah, I like what's happening at the dress too. Like, I like how all that shit turned out. That's fun. But really what we'd like are faces. Right? We like faces. I could draw faces all day. Oh wait, I do. Drawing actors' faces all day long. Alright guys, I think that's it for tonight. Thanks for joining me. I'm definitely going to try and do these more often during the week. They will be quicker, hour sessions, because I get home after work and then gotta make dinner and then hopefully get to sleep at a decent hour. But Mondays I will definitely be doing longer streams where I'll dig into something a little deeper. I like doing those kind of 3-hour hits on something, a longer piece, whether I pencil and ink it or did a watercolor piece on Monday, and that was cool. Check out the previous video if you guys missed it. Yeah, other than that, thanks for joining me. I hope you guys have a great night. Yes, I'm looking forward to doing it more often. Yeah, ask me about that Falcon. I love that pen. It makes me happy. I need to do legit drawings with it more often. I'll get to it. It's a harder read, I think, on streaming because the lines get so fine. So I'll have to figure that out. But yeah, ask me anytime. Hop onto my Instagram if you want to ask me about that. You can see the link down below. And yeah, all right. See you guys next time.